Hey there! Thanks for checking out my podcast. This episode was recorded originally as a video, so if you'd prefer to watch it, head over to my YouTube channel. Otherwise, sit back and enjoy. All right, fantastic. So welcome to today's Coffee with Marcus. I know that many of you are interested in trading options, or maybe you are already trading options, but if you're rather new to trading options, I want to show you today how to start trading options in 5 simple steps. So let's get started, and here is my handy dandy notebook, and let's start with step number 1. So 5 steps, and we're going to start with step number 1. And step number 1 is learn the basics about options. So what do I mean by this? And I have no idea why this isn't bold anymore. Let me just see if I can apply my headline again. There we go. So much easier. Okay, so what are the things that you need to know? And I will give you a resource. Let me do this right now. So I have a playlist that is called Options 101 that show you the basics that you need to know. And I'm going to link to this in the description here and also in the document, and you see it. If you want to have these notes, go to rockwelltrading.com/app. So there we go. Okay, anyhow, so what are the things that I believe you need to know? So you need to know the difference between calls and puts, right? Because there is a huge difference, and if you're trading the wrong instrument, then you might get results that you don't want, right? So this is the first thing that you need to do. Next is you want to know the difference, there we go, between buying and selling options. There are massive differences, and I'll talk to them about in the next step when we talk about different strategies. So what else do you need before you start trading options? So the next thing that you need, let's go back here, is so you should know the basics of options assignment. So when can you get assigned, right? There's another thing. So when can you get assigned? This is important, especially when you're selling options. You might need to know about the Greeks, because depending on your strategy, the Greeks might be an important factor here. Now, the Greeks are the so-called delta and theta and gamma and rho, and I did more videos here on this channel about this, so I'll link to it in the description. I just want to give you the 5 steps, a high-level overview, and then we can dive a little bit deeper. So let's go back here because I want to talk about step number 2. So step number 2 is where you choose your options trading strategy. And I say this that, oh yeah, you just need to choose it. But here are a few things that I want to show you, and I want to give you 2 very specific option trading strategies. So first of all, there are many options trading strategies. Let me just show you what I mean by this. Here on the iPad, this is actually from the CBOE, the Chicago Board of Options Exchange, where they actually list quite a few of the strategies that are out there. And as you can see, there's several strategies for a bullish market, there are several strategies for a bearish market, or neutral strategies. And what you see here are the so-called risk graphs. So each of these option strategies has a different risk ratio, right? And you need to know what each strategy does. Now, in a moment, I'll show you the strategies that I personally use, but you see, it's super important that here you choose the right one, right? So what is the best strategy for you? Let me just make sure that I'm muting my notifications here so that it actually doesn't ding the whole time while I'm talking to you. Okay, so when it comes to best options trading strategies, here are a few things. First of all, you can either have a directional, I want to go over, a directional or a non-directional strategy. And what does this mean? Well, a directional strategy means that you're taking advantage of the market when it's going up or when it is going down. So this is where, if we go back here to the iPad, these would be bear strategies or bull strategies. So these are directional strategies. Or you could choose to have non-directional strategies, which are when the market is rather neutral and just going sideways, as it has been doing for most of the year thus far, especially when you're looking at the NASDAQ. So this, of course, is an important factor. Then you want to know, are you rather interested in buying or selling options? Now, I like to do both. And let me give you actually the two strategies that I personally like to use. So the first one is the wheel strategy. And the wheel strategy, so let's talk about that for a moment. And I want to move this over here. Okay. There we go. The wheel strategy. So what is this? The wheel strategy, and I'll link to the strategy in a playlist. I have a whole playlist for you, so I'll do this in the description here. But this is a rather non-directional strategy. So what does the wheel strategy do? It is about selling options and collecting premium. So this is what this strategy is. So it is perfect for a market that we have right now, where the market is just diddling around. And I know the Dow Jones made new all-time highs. It already made 17 record highs this year. But overall, the markets are rather choppy. And keep in mind, in the Dow, we only have 30 stocks. The S&P and the NASDAQ that are more diddling around, there's way more stocks in there. And also, if you look at the Russell 2000. But you get the idea here, right? So this is where I like to use the wheel strategy. Let me just turn this here into green so that we have nice, beautiful colors. And again, I'll be happy to give you these notes here if you're interested in this. Now then, I'm also have the Power X strategy. And the Power X strategy, let me see if I can move this over. Almost. I'll clean up the notes later for you. So this is a strategy, on the other hand, that is a directional strategy. And with this directional strategy, you are buying options and paying premium, and you hope that the stock, the underlying stock, goes up or down. So each of these strategies has pros and cons. And I have a comparison for you, and I have a video which is called "Which is the Best Strategy?" and I'll link to it in the description here. Now, let's move on to step number 3, and then we will answer your questions around these first 2 steps. So here's what I believe step number 3 should be, and I'm turning this into a new headline. There we go. I believe that step number 3 should be get the right tools. Now, especially when you are trading options, options trading can be complex. So let's just write this down here for a moment. Options, there we go. Trading can be complex. And especially when option tradings, it is great to have 2 main tools that I like to use. The first one here that I like to use is a scanner. And what does a scanner do? A scanner finds the best options to trade. And let me just show you an options chain in a moment so that you see there are so many possibilities. So you need to know what is really the best option, right? I mean, should you buy a call that has a strike price of 200 or 210? Yeah, is it in the money, out of the money, at the money? What is the best option to trade? And the second thing that I believe you need is a calculator. Because when it comes to option, you need to calculate the premium that you either pay or receive per day, right? And there's other key KPIs, key performance indicators that I feel are important for me to make a decision of what option to trade here. So getting the right tools is super important. Now, the tool that I like to use that helps me here a lot is, as you might know, the PowerX Optimizer, because the PowerX Optimizer, especially, it doesn't matter what strategy I'm trading here. I can trade the the Power X strategy. So I have actually a powerful scanner right here that finds, you see it, that finds the best opportunities, right? Whether it is stocks or options. And then I also have the calculator right here in the data window that gives me the important data that I need. Or when I'm trading the other strategy, the wheel strategy, this is where right here, as you can see, I again have a wheel scanner right here that is super important for me to find the right stocks or options to trade right now. So there's a few right here. And then I have the powerful calculator that helps me to get the key performance indicators that I need here. For example, what is the drop in percent that I can afford in this particular stock? How many options should I trade? What is the premium that I'm collecting? How many days to expiration do I have? And what is my premium per day? Also, how much money is needed to buy the stock? So as you can see, these are, it's not really that complex. It's rather simple calculations, but it definitely helps to have a calculator and a scanner, because otherwise it will be challenging. So this is where I believe that you need to have the right tools. So let's talk about step number 4. So what is step number 4? And again, after you have the basics about options, and I'll link to a playlist here for you, and you have chosen the right option trading strategy for you, which is best for you, you now have the right tool. Here's step number 4. Step number 4 is test your strategy on a simulated account. And this is a step that is often overlooked by traders because it's kind of boring. I mean, this is when you're not making real money, right? So this here is a so-called simulator. So you are playing with funny money. So this means this is just simulated money, and if you're making money, it's not transferred into your account. It just pretend, right? It's a like land of pretend here. Anyhow, and all the fields are pretended, but the good news is you're also not losing any money. So why should you do this? Well, there's two main reasons why you should trade on a simulator. And here's the first reason. Let me actually do it this way. Okay, make sure your strategy actually works. And I keep saying this. I mean, you might have been watching me here on YouTube, and you might have seen me trading my account, and you might have seen that I make thousands and $10,000s of dollars. But you see, just because I can do it doesn't necessarily mean that you can do it. So you want to make sure that your strategy actually works and that you understand the strategy, right? Make sure you understand the rules of the strategy, because you see, a trading strategy will fail if you misunderstand the rules. So if the rules are clear cut and they tell you, well, buy when the price goes through this, you want to buy when the price goes through this level and not before, and also not much after, right? So depending on the rules here. But it is super important, because if you don't understand the rules, you will lose money even though the strategy is a profitable trading strategy, right? So this is why I feel this is super important. Now let's move on to step number 5. Oh, by the way, here's what I recommend. So let me just see if I can do this. I recommend at least 40 trades on a simulator. Now you might say, 40 trades? Can't I just do 2 or 3 and then I got it? No, trust me. You want 40 trades, and here's why. First of all, with 40 trades, you get statistically relevant information. Secondly, when you're trading over 40 trades, you're trading probably for a month or two. So you're experiencing different market conditions. You're experiencing market conditions when the market is volatile and when it is quiet. You're experiencing market conditions when the market is going up, when it is going down, and when it is going sideways. And you will make mistakes, right? Because it happens that, especially when you're new to trading, and today's video is targeted towards those of you who are new to trading and want to get started. So you want to make sure that you're really making all the mistakes on a simulator so that you don't make them with real money. Because trust me, once you make mistakes with real money, it's usually very expensive. Now, let's talk about the last step and step number 5. Step number 5 is you need to keep a trading log and evaluate your results. And this is why it's so important, whether you're trading live or whether you're trading on a simulator. Write down every single trade. So what does this mean? Okay, so you want to write down every single trade. And you want to analyze, there we go, analyze what's working. There we go. And also, and what's not. Right? So what does it mean? When you're analyzing these two things, what's working and what's not working, you want to find out, right? I mean, what is your biggest loss? What is your biggest win? What can you expect on average? What is your average win or loss? What is your winning percentage? And the winning percentage basically means, like, how many times are you right? You want to know overall. Let me just indent this here a little bit. Right? You want to know your overall profit, of course. But you want to see this overall profit. Is it coming from one big win, or is it coming from a lot of small trades, right? And if you want to get advanced, you can also calculate your profit factor if you want. And your profit factor is that you take all of your winning trades. So you just take all of the winning trades together and divide it by all of the losing trades, right? So anyhow, this is just some advanced things. But it is important that you have some basic numbers here. And trust me, if you're new to options trading and you're doing these 5 steps, you will be way ahead of everybody else. So let's quickly run through the list, and then I'll take a look at your questions. So number 1, you want to learn the basics about options trading. And there's really not much. I have a playlist for you, and I'll link to it in the description. It probably takes you 40-45 minutes to go through the basics. You really don't have to spend hours and hours learning the basics. What you should rather spend more time on is choosing the right option strategy. And before you can choose the right option strategy, you need to understand, what does this option trading strategy do? And is this a good fit for you? Because this is what I always say, there is no best strategy. There's only the best strategy that fits your personality, that fits your criteria, that fits your account size, that fits your risk tolerance, that fits your availability to trade. So super important here. Then moving on to step number 3, you need to have the right tools. It will make your life so much easier, because without the right tools, trading can be super frustrating. With the right tools, it can be super rewarding and it can be super fun. Super important, test your strategy on a simulated account. Please do not skip this step. This is really the difference between traders who are making it and traders who are losing money. Most traders are jumping into trading without testing the strategy. And again, trading on a simulator serves 2 main purposes. Make sure that the strategy that you selected is actually working, right? I mean, don't trust anybody, ever. Don't trust anybody. And then make sure that you understand the rules of the strategy and that you're getting the results that you're expecting. Step number 5, keep a trading log, evaluate the results, and see, is it working for you or is it not? All right, that's it for today. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure that you subscribe to this podcast. And if you could do me a huge favor and rate it, that would mean a lot to me. Just leave a 5-star rating and let others know what you think about the podcast.
Also, you can go to rockwelltrading.com/social, where you'll find links to all of my social media accounts, as well as event info, blogs, and other cool updates I have for you. Thank you so much for listening, and remember to join me next time. Until then, have a great time, and I'll talk to you soon.